What's going on? Alright, it's about time I started talking about Final Fantasy XIV. This is a video that I have been wanting to put out for quite a few months now, but I didn't feel like it was right to create this video until I completed A Realm Reborn in its entirety. This video will be mostly concerning A Realm Reborn, and I'll probably make future videos for the other expansions that come out afterwards. Now, going into this, I know that there's been a lot of videos that have been uploaded to YouTube by other streamers and stuff like that that are like, oh, I've been playing WoW for like 30 years and now I'm playing Final Fantasy. Here's what I think. Yeah, it's gonna be another one of those, but it's from this fucking guy. And I've avoided those videos so I can give you my brutally honest opinion on the game. When jumping into Final Fantasy, I had actually experienced the game a little bit differently to the average player because I had a lot of extra help from the boys in the stream, thank you boys, that helped me learn things a lot faster than an average player probably would have, and it definitely improved my experience overall, so I have definitely tried to take that into consideration. Okay, the first thing I wanted to talk about is actually the first thing that you encounter in the game. I wanted to talk about the races that are in the game. Now overall, I think it's pretty good. I feel like the aesthetic of it is pretty good and how people are modeled and whatnot, and their faces and their bodies and whatnot. I gotta say, there is the exception of the Lalafels. They make me a little bit uncomfortable at times. It seems like a bit pedo-y. But other than that, it's not too bad. There are the cat girls and cat boys, which I'm not too big of a fan of, but after playing the game, it is definitely seen a lot. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the most played race in the game. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the race selection, such as the humans and the aura and those big dudes. But then you also have the option to have the alternative version of the race. I forgot what they were called, but that's a really cool option as well. Lots of variety, and pretty pleased with it overall. Alright, next on the list are the jobs. Now, I keep calling them classes, so bear with me, but one of the things that really drew me into getting more and more invested into Final Fantasy were actually the jobs. I'm used to seeing just standard kind of classes like warrior and mage, which they do basically have those in here, but they also have a bunch of like very interesting and unique classes which I haven't actually seen before. And the one that I was drawn to was the samurai. As soon as I saw the samurai as a playable class and saw the abilities and whatnot, I had to do it. Like, in my mind, I was like, I need to hit level 50, I need to unlock it. I paid for the game just to be able to play as samurai, so then I could then feel like I can begin to start the game. I was that excited to play as a samurai. But there are other really cool classes in the game, like Dancer, where you actually just dance around and do shit that helps out the raid team. Then there's like a Gunbreaker, which is like a dude with like a gun sword thing. Apparently it's a very normal thing in the Final Fantasy franchise, but I still don't understand how that is a tank. But yeah, I gotta say, I'm really impressed by their diversity and the uniqueness of the jobs overall. Now, the thing with the jobs and your race is that you make one character. You make one character and you can switch between jobs. Now, when you switch between jobs, you're going to start at level 1, but you don't have to make multiple characters and lose your progress in the storyline, which is very important. Now, this is fucking awesome because that means I can play like 2, sometimes 3 different jobs at once and level them up until like the cap, I suppose. And then switch to the other one and kind of make the most of my main storyline quest experience. And then it gives me a little bit of extra diversity. Now, the other thing that goes with this this whole unique one character, multiple jobs scenario is that it gives you a unique feeling that other MMOs don't allow, which gives you like proper character identity in the game, right? I log into the game and I'm Patchyboi, and no matter what job I switch to, I'm known as Patchyboi. I log into the world and I run into people from the stream, and I see them and I see their name and I'm like, hey, that's such and such, and I know you. And it's not like you have different alt names and stuff like that. It's like, that's you. I recognize you. I feel like I'm in a world. That's something I don't really experience with a lot of MMOs anymore. There have also been a lot of times where I've run into random people that I recognize that aren't on the stream. They don't know that I'm streaming. I just recognize their names and talk to them and wave and stuff that I've been in dungeons with and whatnot too. So I feel like that is a massive takeaway. It's not really something that is like super game changing, but as a MMO player, I'm not really like super into role playing, but there is kind of like a proper connection between yourself and the character that you're playing. Like, you are actually engaged with this person and their life within this world, which is just fucking fantastic, and I absolutely love it. Alright, now it's time for the story. Now, when I first started Final Fantasy Realm Reborn, I was told that Realm Reborn is there specifically to build the foundation for the rest of the game. Now, I was also reminded that it is a bit of a slog, especially post Realm Reborn content, which means you've completed the main storyline, and then there's like kind of this after story arc thing with multiple little stories in it that aren't really as important. In all honesty, there were some bits in the story that were really interesting and really fun, such as the Ascians, which is like the dark evil wizards and stuff like that. Some of the seven scions or whatever, that was pretty cool. I grew attached to some of the characters. I really liked Roban, especially at the end. I'm not going to give spoilers for that, but he does some shit that really impressed me. That made me a bit more engaged with the game. Throughout the storyline, I felt like there were a lot of instances where you're doing smaller tasks that made you feel like you're in a world, like, I need you to deliver this note to this person or help you with this task or something like that, right? And sometimes it felt like it was like some bullshit filler quest, and maybe that's the case, but a lot of the time I felt like I was just doing like real world tasks and helping characters do stuff instead of it being some sort of filler thing. I'm a bit on the fence about that one. There were times where I felt one way and times that I felt the other way, but I really didn't mind it. Another thing of the storyline is the text. I really appreciated it when there was voice acting, and I mean, some of the voices were a little bit cringe. Apparently they change as you progress through the game because they have different voice actors and stuff like that. But I did appreciate the voice acting a bit. But the text? Throughout Final Fantasy, there is this way that they talk. It's like old English fancy pants talk. And I found a lot of the time that I couldn't be fucked reading everything that they were saying. It's like I had to really think about what they were saying, and it was just over the top for the sake of being over the top. There were times where I was in the mood and I'm like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool, I get it and whatever, but most of the time it's just like, man, you could have told me what was going on in one sentence rather than 5 paragraphs. So that definitely takes you out of it and makes you care a little bit less. I wish that changes as I progress through the game. I'm really hoping for that. But for Realm Reborn, for the most part, reading the quest was a bit of a slog. Now, as someone who actively plays World of Warcraft and likes to do raiding and whatnot, the dungeons and the raiding aspect of the game really excited me, because I've seen a couple of clips of it. By the time I got to the first dungeon, which was probably like level 10, 15 or something like that, it was pretty cool. It was a unique experience for me, which I found very fun. I feel like I feel like I could probably do them again and not feel excited. I don't know how it would feel leveling up an alt job from scratch and trying to go through those dungeons again. Maybe I could put up with it, but it's definitely not going to be something that's too exciting the second time around or third time around, I reckon. As for raids, I did the raid content, the Crystal Tower, which is the Alliance raids, where you have like 3 different teams of 12. That was really badass. There are different tiers to it and stuff like that, and the boss fights were really awesome. Overall, it looks really awesome. I also did the Coils of Bahamut. I'm not going to give any spoilers there, but the last boss fight in that is really awesome, and it got me excited for what's to come in the future expansions, because considering that it came out in like 2014, 2015, which was quite a long time ago, I would expect that the newer content to have even grander experiences. So I'm really psyched to really try them out. PvP. Now, I'm not too fond of PvP in other games, but I thought I'd at least try and give it a shot. Now, apparently PvP isn't super popular, and because I am an Australian playing on an American server, I know that the time slots are going to be a bit wonky. That saying, I didn't expect to not be able to get into a single match. I tried to go into a queue with multiple other people and try and get it happening and whatnot, but it's almost like it's non-existent, like no one plays it. I was recommended that I go and search Discord servers for my data centers and join in with them at organized times of the day, where they all search for PvP games at the same time just to be able to find a match. Like, I have heard rumors that PvP is very neglected in this game, but I did not realize that it would be to such an extent. I am not really too cut over this, in all honesty, but it would be really cool if they do some sort of big update or something that entices more people to try PvP. A complete overhaul, whatever it takes. I'm not too experienced. I know that this isn't going to change as I continue on with expansions or anything like that, because apparently you're like locked in to your level and item level and stuff like that when you go in. Don't quote me on that. I didn't even get to play a match to find out. But it is a little disappointing that I couldn't even try to experience it in the first place. I hope there's some changes with that in the future. Oh boy, okay, this is the big one, community. Alright, now, you've probably heard rumors online from Twitter or YouTube or Reddit or whatever about the community. There are some definite misconceptions about the community, about being like some weird erotic roleplay dedicated game where you log in and there'll be people whispering you links to their like Discord servers full of just fucking hentai porn and shit like that. But in all honesty, I haven't run into anything of the sort. I've had a full experience without having run into any particular problem at all. I've heard that there are some servers that generally have more people congregating there for role-playing aspects in general, but the erotic roleplay shit are apparently behind closed doors in FC houses, which FCs are like the guilds. I don't even know what their name is, Free Command or something like that. So throw that shit out the window. If you're thinking about trying Final Fantasy but put off by this idea that the community is like some sort of weird fucking full-on fetish thing that'll just completely ruin your experience in the game, I bet by the time you're max level, you probably won't even run into any of this. It is a very like secluded environment that you have to go out of your way to search, so don't worry about it. In saying that, the community is probably the biggest part of it. The biggest thing that has drawn me into this game. Now, I'm a Twitch streamer and I have a lot more interaction with the community. They are so supportive. They help me out to learn things. They answer questions for me about the game that might be silly or small, but really enhance the experience. But also in game, people like in the guild that I joined, they're going out of their way to help me figure things out as well. When you go online to like Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that, it's just overwhelmingly positive feedback from people. And there's also these events that happen like out of nowhere. Like the community just comes together and does really amazing things. Like the Kentaro, the creator of Berserk, he passed away recently. I already uploaded a video of that, but you can go into the main city and there was hundreds of people in every server lined up as Dark Knights, which is similar to the character in Berserk, as a tribute, and it went for like 2 or 3 days. And these people just standing there for 2 or 3 days and kind of having this worldwide tribute for the passing of this man. And it's weird because I just don't see that sort of thing in any other games. People hype up the aspect of community or really like try and shit on community, but I gotta say, like, the strength of it is unbelievable, and it really makes you feel like you're in a world and everyone cares, instead of it being like, I had to say it, in World of Warcraft, people expect a lot of things from you. You need to be in the top 5% and understand everything and know every mechanic of everything and hit certain markers, otherwise you get fucking kicked, you'll be shamed, they'll talk shit on you. I feel like it's very toxic in other games in that regard, but Final Fantasy, it's like they genuinely want you to play the game. And that's why I'm starting to make videos about Final Fantasy. I have played World of Warcraft for a long time. I played a lot of ESO. I've dipped my toes into Star Wars, but there's something really special about this game, and I'm gonna keep pushing through it. I want to get through all of the content from the main story quests and do my job quests, because those are really awesome too. I really want to complete all of it, do all the raids and shit. I want to play Endwalker when it drops and experience it firsthand, because I feel like it's a game worth putting time into if you're into MMOs. If you feel like you need a fresh experience somewhere, I highly recommend it. It's definitely the place to go. Give it a shot.